Hi, welcome to phase one of the Spring Cleanse or Guided Detox. My name's Anna Welly, um, and this video is just going to be an informational process to help you get into the detox mode and what to kind of do to get ready for your first phase of just stepping into the kind of easing into the detox. So, one of the first things, and what I mentioned also in the orientation video, is you really want to create space for yourself as much as possible. That detoxing time is different from your regular life, and the more that you can make this like a really nice, just kind of break for yourself, like a really nice time out to rest and nourish and recalibrate and just refresh yourself, the better the process will be as an experience, and the more your body will naturally detox and the easier will be for yourself. It also will support you to just have more of a healing and transformational experience. So, what I suggest is for you to take anything that's unnecessary off the schedule. Practice saying no to people that might need certain things from you. Practice just creating a little bit of some stronger boundaries around putting time first and foremost for yourself and for others, or things that are unnecessary lower down on the list. This is a great time to really have some quiet evenings alone, to just spend a few moments in silence here and there, to deepen your meditation practice or start a meditation practice if that's something that's new for you. And again, all of that will really support your body in burning off and releasing everything that you're ready to let go of. So part of that aspect too then is to find time to be out in nature and connect with being in the great outdoors, and letting that be a way to kind of support yourself in the letting go and relief process. So going for walks, just going to sit outside in your yard or go to the garden, or if it's cold out, bundle up and just get outside and breathe in some fresh air, and let that be like a really powerful practice for you to cleanse and release and shift your mindset, shift your perspective. And what this is doing is just kind of supporting us and breaking us out of old patterns or certain realities that aren't really fitting us. What we were doing in the past has got us to be where we're at right now. And so in order to get someplace new, we're going to have to do different things. And so that's why this detox isn't just about only eating different food. It's about also taking care of yourself in a different way, and letting your day, letting your lifestyle look a little different for a little while. The next part about that is I want you to really focus on upgrading your self-care. So the first part of that, one of the most essential components of doing the detox, is to be getting a lot of rest. So slowing down in the evening times, not working late, trying to quit work before 5 ideally, having an early light dinner, and then just having the evening to kind of kick back and relax, do something sweet, something nourishing, something yummy, and get the rest that you need. Go to bed early. As you go deeper into detox mode, you might notice that you really need some sleep. You really feel better with going to bed around 8 o'clock or 9 o'clock or something like that. So let that be one of the key components of self-care and just healthy habits for you to bring into your life during this time, and then hopefully continue on later in life with just respecting and honoring how tired you feel and how much rest you truly do need. Once you wake up in the morning, the next self-care practice will be to practice scraping your tongue. And there's a video about that on the members page. And basically just the idea is you're looking at your tongue to start to notice what's going on in the digestive tract and what's going on in the body. The tongue is linked to our internal organs and our internal system, and it reflects what's happening in the digestive tract. So if there's a large, thick coating on your tongue, that means that there's undigested material in the digestive process. So that means that there's been too much food, you've been eating too frequently or too heavy, or things that just haven't been easily broken down. The thicker the coating on the tongue, the thicker or the more intense the undigested stuff is in your body. So if this is already apparent before the detox starts, then it's a good thing you're here and you're just like ready to burn that stuff off. You can also notice that there might be more of a coating as you move deeper into the detox. And that just means that the detox is working, that things are coming up, things are being brought forth towards the limitory channel to be cleansed and purged from your system. So that's okay. It's just something to look at and honor. And also key into how your choices influence what's happening in that internal state. So notice that if you do eat too late and too heavy, how you might feel a little bit heavier or groggier in the morning, and how you might notice a little bit more of that coating on your tongue. Versus if you eat light and early and you have maybe just like some soup or a salad for dinner, that you wake up feeling a little bit more light and there's not much coating on your tongue, if any at all. So making that connection, how the choices that you make influence how you feel day after day. The next practice will be to flush the channel with your channels with warm water. So you're just going to wake up after you scrape your tongue, brush your teeth, that kind of thing. You're going to drink some warm or hot water, and you can add lemon if you like. And you can start out with just like a regular glass, and then slowly work up to a larger quantity. I actually use one of these large glasses just all day to make sure that I stay hydrated. And you can use that to kind of help to trigger a bowel movement. If you feel really full or bloated from drinking too much water, then just like taper it back and just start with like a small cup. You can also add ginger to it if you like, and that will help to ignite more of the hunger. And that being said, one of the practices is also going to be sipping hot water throughout the day. If you can have a thermos handy with hot, like warm or tea hot water, you can add lemon or ginger again. You can sip that all day, like every 20 minutes or so, just have like a small little glass. That is really going to ignite the cleansing process and really support the body to detox and just like thoroughly cleanse the lymph, and also really hydrate you. And that deep hydration will support a cleanse as well. Let's see. Then after you have your bowel movement in the morning, then the next would be to do a breath body practice and basically just kind of wake up the body with breath. So go for a walk, do some yoga, take the dog outside, go for a jog, dance, like whatever are good, like maybe like you can do a video in your living room, something like that. Just move the body for about 5 minutes, 10 or 20 minutes is really good. And just focus on breathing really deeply into your body and bringing that prana, that vital life force essence to wake up the body and just kind of create that connectivity over your whole system. Other self-care practices will also be dry brushing and self-massage. And self-massage is especially one that will be very nourishing and nurturing and really reparative and soothing to the nervous system. For that one, you're just going to use a natural whole oil, such as coconut oil or sesame oil, or you can find a nice massage oil at the grocery store, the health food store. And you're just going to rub it into your skin all over your body. And you can do that before you shower or after you shower. Or you could also do it before you get into bed at night, or you might just even focus on your feet. But this will really help you kind of feel a little bit calmer through the detox process. It'll really help kind of like soothe and ground you. And for those that are actually wanting to put on weight, this is a really important practice to really just kind of like help ground yourself down and ground the nervous system to relax into the present moment. And for the dry brushing, that's one that can be done before or after the shower, but before the shower is the easiest. And for that, you can use a Loaf or a exfoliation gloves. And this practice is more of a cleansing one, so it'll help basically move the lymph that's just underneath your skin, move the lymph towards the lymph nodes. And if you look in the detox guidebook, I posted a chart in there that shows you where all the lymph nodes are located, here and here, and in your hip flexors and things like that. So you can kind of brush your skin towards the lymph nodes and move the lymph towards the lymph nodes to kind of help kind of move things around, but kind of dump things to be moved out. And that'll support your detox process as well. Um, As for food, then, that is going to be kind of also one of the main focuses that we have for the detox. And what that's going to look like is basically we have this first phase where we're slowly easing in. And the second phase is we go into a deeper detox. And then the last phase is where we ease out. And if you want to look ahead and start looking at the menus and get a sense of what it is that you want for this process, for the phases coming up, that just let your intuition guide you of what sounds good to you, what you're attracted to, what sounds delicious, what your body wants at this time. And that's going to be one of the most important key practices throughout this whole cleansing process, is that you're tuning into your intuition, you're honoring what your body needs, and you're honoring what your body is asking for. So that being said, how we're going to plan the meals is basically the first phase is where you're letting go of the things that you no longer want to be consuming. So things like caffeine, alcohol, smoking. It might be like gluten or dairy or red meat or all meat. Whatever it is for you that you're kind of wanting to take off the plate, you're slowly letting those go. And then you're focusing on having just the whole natural foods. So breakfast could be things like a smoothie, or it might be a oatmeal or stewed apples. It could be a sort of porridge. It might be a chia pudding. Anything that sounds good to you. And then you'll have your nourishing breakfast, and then you won't eat anything until lunch. And you'll just sip hot water from breakfast until lunch. This is a really important practice to support the digestive phases and help you digest things fully before you're putting the next thing into your mouth. So then for lunch and for dinner, during the first phase, you can just essentially kind of eat anything off of the recipe list that looks good to you. But the idea here is that we're going for more simplified and more easier to digest. And then as we go into the deeper detox, we want it even more simple and even more easier to digest. And easier to digest also includes anything in liquid form. So broth and tea and liquid soups are the easiest to digest, along with just fresh juices. And then smoothies, and those have more fiber than the juice, so they'll be a little bit more satisfying, but it'll just require a little bit more digestive work. But those are essentially the most easy. And then things like stews and khichdi, which are still in very much a liquid form, but it's a little bit hardier. Still easier to digest, and they're just like getting a little bit heavier on the scale. So for those of you who are wanting to go into a little bit of a deeper detox in phase 2, but you're not wanting to lose weight, doing something like khichdi will be a good choice for you. Whereas someone that wants to lose more weight, doing more of the lightening foods like the green juice, green smoothies, and green soups will be a supportive practice to kind of cleanse and burn off the fat and letting things go. So you'll have your breakfast is, smoothie, porridge, chia, whatever it is that's good for you. If you're not satisfied off of your breakfast, if you notice that you're getting hungry before lunch, then you just want to add more fat to your meal. So that could be like adding avocado to your smoothie or a nut butter. It might be adding a nut butter onto your oatmeal or coconut butter or something like that. Hemp seeds, the chia seeds, all of those are really good choices. And then for your lunch and dinner, you can also make those look the same to simplify. It'll simplify taking care of things in the kitchen, and it'll simplify planning, and it'll simplify how easy it is for you to digest as well. So that could be like having a very similar salad at lunch and dinner, roasting some vegetables and just like putting those on some greens for a couple of days, maybe eating, like a wrap or a burrito or something like that for a couple of nights in a row. It doesn't have to be fancy. And the less ingredients, the easier it is to digest. So as you're moving into this process of going into the first phase, you also will you'll work at it from wherever your starting point is. If your starting point is to eat cheeseburgers and nachos and all these different kinds of like heavier foods, if you're like a regular red meat eater, maybe your diet is more complex, maybe you eat out often, something like that, then just moving to a whole foods diet slowly might be a deep enough detox for you. You just need to honor where you're at and how much of a shift that you want. If your starting place is already vegetarian or vegan, very plant-based, gluten-free, maybe even grain-free, then you'll slowly move into more of the focusing on just like the fruits and the vegetables and doing more of the liquid based, so that when you go into deeper detox, you'll be getting really into more of a liquid diet of juices, smoothies, soups, and things like that. You'll pace yourself, you'll do what sounds good to you, and you'll honor how you feel. So it's not so much about forcing yourself based off your agenda, but really noticing what your body is asking for and where you might even need to slow down a little bit. So if you're noticing that you're starting to detox too heavy, or you're feeling lightheaded, or your hunger's not satisfied, then you can add in things like more grains, have more brown rice or quinoa, or have more legumes, like have some lentils, or add more beans, or add more fat to your meal. And that will just give you a little bit more sustenance. The other main portion about this, or the main concept that I really want you guys to look at, is how you are honoring your hunger. And in Ayurveda, we work with the concept of Agni, which is the fire. Agni is Sanskrit for fire, and in Ayurveda, there are classified 40 different Agnis within the body. There are 13 main Agnis, and the number one Agni, number one digestive fire, sits at the base of your stomach, where the stomach meets the small intestine. And this is the one that does all of like the hard work of changing that sandwich into the cells and tissues. It breaks things down and supports you to assimilate and then also move waste out. So we're giving our Agni a break by only taking something into our mouth at our designated meal times. So that will be, breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Most people do really good with 3 meals a day. If you are weak, if you are underweight, if you are, if you've been getting sick really easily, if you're having kind of more of a weaker constitution type issues, then you might do okay with, or do better with 4 meals a day. 3 meals a day will be pretty standard for most of us, and then 2 meals a day might actually be better for those with a heavier constitution, for more of the Kapha type people. So if you're really grounded and earthy, you have a lot of sustenance to you, you don't have a very strong hunger, and your digestion actually gets overloaded kind of easily, then doing just 2 meals a day at like 10:30 and 4:30 might be your best option and something to experiment with. So that being said, either way, we're not going to snack in between meals. We're going to honor that fire, and we're going to wait until that fire, that Agni, really picks up before having our next meal. And we're going to explore the hunger. Look at what it's like as your hunger starts to build. How do I feel? How's my energy? How do I feel after eating? And then by simplifying the diet, by really just eating more simple, wholesome, natural foods, you're making it easier for your fire to digest that what you're taking in. And that in turn supports the rest of your digestive fires to really wake up and go to work. And that's what supports the detox to happen, is that those other little fires are going to be working really hard to burn off and cleanse and detox all the things that you don't need to help those kind of burn away, and then get basically cleansed and cleared and transformed and burned away out of your system. So those are the main concepts. You can use the recipes in the recipe book, and also I highly suggest you use the meal planners to kind of look ahead and think, what do I want to eat for these next 5 days, breakfast, lunch, and dinner. You can repeat, the same recipes for a few days, and that makes it quite a bit easier. And let that be an intention to set for yourself, and then also you can write out your grocery list and just make like one trip to the grocery store, ideally, is the easiest way to do it. If you're going to do a lot of smoothies or a lot of salads, it might be way more produce than you're used to buying. So if you don't have enough room for that, then yeah, sometimes you have to take multiple trips. But by planning it out, you're really setting that intention and supporting yourself in the process to make it happen, and then making sure you have the things available for you that you need as you go through the detox process. Yeah, and I hope that serves. If you have questions, you can ask in the forum or on our next live call.